I guess to start, talk a little bit about how does the size of a law firm impact the type of service that clients receive?
Understandably, smaller firms have usually fewer people. And so when you're talking about what kind of experience they bring to the table, it's usually they can offer a deep bench in one or a couple of areas. They don't really have the administrative resources that larger firms tend to have when it comes to things like marketing, professional development, training, pro bono, and so forth. Large firms, on the other hand, tend to be known for a few things, one of which is the cachet of their name. They're able to offer a multitude of disciplines, often a deep bench, as well as an expansive geography.
I have to agree with what Tina said, and there are certainly stereotypes about this, but I really don't abide by the stereotypes. Size is rarely, if ever, the first thing that I consider in looking for a law firm. It's really the substantive expertise that is foremost in my mind, and you can get first-rate quality legal service from both large and small firms. So if you consider this, maybe from the relative merits of large versus small, the answer, again, it really depends on the nature of the matter. It's not as simple as costs or fees. Large firms, as Tina said, have developed certain efficiencies and may be actually less expensive than smaller firms in any given matter, and the reverse could be true. Sometimes smaller firms can be more expensive than larger firms, so it's not that easy. If you're a company that has matters across the country or across the globe, a large firm may have a certain advantage there, because they've got that larger footprint that can match the footprint of your company's needs. But you don't have to re-educate a new law firm about your company and about the matter every time you go to a new city. So there you may have an advantage with a large firm. And that large firm, they already know your company, they know your needs. They also are going to know the local business climate and the local legal climate, which could be really good. So ultimately for me, it comes down to the sophistication necessary for the matter, how important and how valuable is that matter to my company in the grand scheme of things, and then the connection that I make or that I don't make with the outside counsel. So, I have to say the ultimate answer to the question is the ultimate lawyer's answer, which is it depends.
Just to add to what David was saying, I don't think it's all that different from dating. I think it's really important to look at who they are as an attorney as well as who they are as a person. Are you able to develop that rapport? What do they bring to the table individually, as well as what does their firm bring to the table?
Well, describe the law firm of the future. What does it look like?
Well, another great question where there's not very much of a cookie cutter answer. I think we're going to continue to see a consolidation in the legal market, which I think will ultimately drive the development of additional global law firms. So I think we're going to see mergers. There are going to be places that are going to end up getting bigger. I think that there will be some that are going to end up dissolving or being reborn into different sorts of entities, maybe smaller, breaking up into different pieces. I think that when it comes to the success of a law firm, it's really going to be driven by the individuals who are in those law firms. I think being diligent and proactive when it comes to not only your clients, but as well as the running of the business is going to be really important. I think lawyers are going to have to be creative about using technology in a way that they've already been doing with BlackBerries and other PDAs and all of that good stuff, because I think that they have to be very receptive to the change.
First, as to fees, I think alternative fees are going to be increasingly the norm. Some sort of fixed fees, success fees, some other type of alternative fee with much less reliance on the billable hour. As to size, I agree with what Tina said. I think we're going to continue to see a similar mix in size of firms that we do now, but I think ultimately we'll see fewer the mega firms. That may be through consolidation, but I think we'll see fewer of those. I think that in terms of the types of lawyers that are in firms, we'll see the most change in the larger firms. I think there will be fewer partners and more non-partner track attorneys who remain at the firms, such as like staff attorneys or of counsel, for example. It's going to become increasingly important, for example, to stop placing rainmakers into the leadership roles just because they have books of business, and more focus on placing people who have a knack and a talent for leadership. It takes a special kind of person to lead a professional services firm. Another thing that I think we will see more of is an increased focus on training of young lawyers. My hope in this area, and we've seen some firms start on this last year, somewhat driven by the economy, is the development of apprenticeship systems, apprenticeship programs that I'd really like to see the whole profession go to formalized apprenticeship programs for the first 2 years out of law school, where the young lawyers learn by doing. For example, shadowing partners on things like client meetings, depositions, trials, and the focus is on learning by doing, not on billing hours, so that by the time they're done with their apprenticeship program, they're of far more value and more capable of providing substantive legal services than junior and mid-level associates are today.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.